That's why he's always wrong. That guy just told me he was wrong the other night.
That's it. Worldwide takeover, Times Square takeover, the takeover, New York takeover. Man, you just put anything with takeover.
Man, we're doing great. Getting ready for this fight on May 2nd, and I can't wait, man. It's been a long time due, and we're gonna show up and show the world what we made of.
Yeah, this is my favorite type of workout. Part of training.
Why is that?
Fundamentals. Bring back the basics. Basics are everything. Alignment with the feet and the hands. Position.
Two of boxing's most lethal weapons are about to collide, and what's happening right now in their training camps is absolutely wild. We're talking about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, two fighters who have turned their entire existence into one single, obsessive mission. And here's what nobody's telling you about what's really going down behind closed doors. These aren't just training camps anymore. These are warfare laboratories where every second, every breath, every drop of sweat is calculated to destroy the other man. The level of intensity we're seeing right now is unlike anything we've witnessed in recent boxing history, and the psychological warfare has already begun.
Champ got razor blades in them goddamn gloves. And we gonna be switching on his ass. Woo!
I think he's gonna go in and be patient and handle his business. I mean, compared to Shakur, I mean, he's just a masterpiece at his work.
But here's where it gets absolutely insane. While most fighters are going through the motions, hitting pads and running their usual routines, Stevenson and Lopez have completely transformed what it means to prepare for war. We're talking about a level of dedication that borders on obsession. Their days don't start at 6 a.m. with a light jog. No, these guys are living and breathing boxing from the moment they wake up until they collapse into bed, completely drained. Every meal is calculated, every movement is purposeful, and every training session is designed with one goal in mind: to completely dismantle their opponent. And get this, the sparring partners they're bringing in aren't just random guys from the local gym. These are elite-level fighters specifically chosen to mimic their opponent's style, creating the most realistic war scenarios possible.
Yo, can I ask you something?
What?
Did you blame him?
Nah, hell no. That was smart. That was smart. I know what I'm gonna do next time though. I'm gonna punch it.
Especially that hook.
I got you. Look, when he start doing this, I'm gonna punch that shit like right here, his elbow.
And I got a family to take care of. They depend on me. And I'm gonna get to this bag and make sure it works.
Now let me tell you what's happening in Shakur Stevenson's camp that has everyone talking. The atmosphere isn't what you'd expect from a typical boxing gym. There's this eerie, almost surgical precision to everything they do. When Stevenson steps into that ring for sparring, it's like watching a master craftsman at work. The sound of leather hitting flesh echoes through the gym with this rhythmic precision that gives you chills. His footwork is so clean, so calculated, that his sparring partners are struggling to even touch him. But here's the kicker: between rounds, while other fighters are gasping for air and complaining about fatigue, Stevenson is completely locked in, absorbing every single word from his coaches like his life depends on it. The mental focus we're seeing is absolutely terrifying for anyone who has to face him.
The gym, my happy place.
What is the update on that?
It's a lot better. I'm able to punch, I'm able to whoop ass.
Does it change it being Floyd Schofield with the same vision?
Same vision. Actually, it makes it even better, to be honest, because he been popping a lot of shit. So to put him in his place, I'm gonna love doing that.
Being a coach is, of course, like a coach's dream, you know. He's technically sound, you know. He's disciplined. He does everything right, you know. All you gotta do is tie gloves and give him water majority of the time. You don't gotta worry about skipping no steps, you know. He gonna follow everything, plus do a little more on his own time, you know. You make a coach job easy.
And hold up, because this next part changes everything. Terrence Crawford, pound for pound one of the most dangerous fighters on the planet, has been spending serious time in Stevenson's camp. We're not talking about a casual visit or some publicity stunt. Crawford is actually working with Stevenson, sharing secrets, breaking down techniques, and giving him insights that money can't buy. When a fighter of Crawford's caliber puts his reputation on the line by endorsing someone, that tells you everything you need to know. Crawford doesn't waste time with pretenders, and the fact that he's investing his energy into Stevenson's preparation should terrify Lopez and his entire team. The knowledge transfer happening right now is giving Stevenson weapons that most fighters will never have access to.
With Terrence Bud Crawford, definitely a hell of an experience. You get that type of knowledge, that type of IQ. I look up to Bud a lot. Honestly, he one of the realest dudes that I done met. He's still a normal person in his head. Like, he don't believe that he's above everyone else. That's how I feel about myself.
You see me around a lot. Oh, no. Don't act like you ain't seen me around them days. He said
Bud, come on. Terrence talking, I try not to talk back. I try to just listen.
Straight, boom, straight shot. Like right here, boom, there you go. But you gotta make sure you step. Bam. That's when the motherfucker trying to run out. When the motherfucker trying to run, there you go.
Even if I don't feel the same way that he feeling at the moment, it don't matter. I still want to hear him out and try to understand what he's saying.
If you hear, what do you think he can throw? The hook, because you out the way of the right hand.
He like a sponge. He soak up everything that he need to soak up, put it into his arsenal, and then he make the best out of everything that he learned from everybody.
Then throw it straight left to the body.
At the end of the day, you don't want to feel like a know-it-all. And the people that know it all are the people that don't go very far. You gotta always be a student. You gotta always be able to learn and pick up things from this person, that person.
He's a work of art. The sky is the limit with Shakur. He got the boxing skills and the ability to, do whatever he wants in the ring. And it's gonna be very hard to beat Shakur, with the skills that he possesses.
You want to talk about roots?
But wait, it gets even crazier when you dive into Stevenson's background. His trainer, Wally Moses, recently revealed something that nobody knew about Shakur's early days. Picture this, a 5-year-old kid literally begging to get in the ring and spar every single day. Most kids that age are playing video games or watching cartoons. Stevenson was obsessed with boxing before he could even tie his own shoes. Moses says he's never seen anything like it in 40 years of training fighters. This wasn't some parent pushing their kid into the sport for money or fame. This was pure, raw passion from a child who seemed destined for greatness. And here's what's wild. That same obsessive drive that made him beg to train as a 5-year-old is still burning inside him today. Except now it's backed by world-class technique and championship experience.
Boxing every day. I think when he got around 2 years old, he just sat up and just started punching right in front of the TV. And I was like, oh, you like that? And I think pretty much everything else is hit you. You hear me tell tales about taking him into the gym at 5 years old, but when he went into the gym, he was ready to start training and learn how to fight. So he had been learning how to box long before 5 years old.
The family dynamic around Stevenson is something special too, and it's giving him a massive psychological advantage heading into this fight. While other fighters deal with distractions, drama, and people trying to get into their pockets, Stevenson's family creates this protective bubble around him. His mother, his siblings, extended relatives, they're not just showing up for fights. They're at the gym regularly, creating this incredible support system that keeps him grounded and focused. You can see it in his eyes during training. There's no doubt, no second guessing, just complete confidence because he knows his people have his back no matter what happens. That kind of mental security is priceless in a sport where doubt can get you knocked unconscious.
House of Champion, TFP Lopez in the building. You already know what's up. Your father, senior, right here in the building. Okay. Yo, what up, guys? Yeah, box out. Hey, man, it's different. That's what I like. I like that it's different. And Steven had like an indoor court at the same time.
Now flip the script and step into Teofimo Lopez's world, because what's happening over there is absolutely electric. The energy in that gym hits you like a freight train the moment you walk through the doors. Music is pounding, voices are shouting, and Lopez is moving through his drills like a man possessed. This isn't the quiet, calculated approach we see in Stevenson's camp. This is pure, raw aggression being channeled into devastating combinations and explosive power shots. The difference in atmosphere is night and day, but don't mistake Lopez's high-energy approach for lack of focus. Every punch he throws, every drill he completes, is designed with surgical precision to maximize damage when fight night arrives.
On the court a little bit. Yeah.
The playground.
So every time I finish a fight, I go home with almost at least $1 million. But that's not enough with the living and everything that comes around.
Yeah.
Especially in today's era. Today, 10K back then was a lot. Now it's nothing. 10,000, well, we paying at least half of that in rent or housing.
I'm standing in your way. My bad.
No, man. Bro, I brought ain't somebody that has brought a major billion-dollar company like I did.
And listen to this part, because the sparring sessions in Lopez's camp are absolutely brutal. We're talking about rounds that look more like actual fights than training exercises. The intensity is so high that sparring partners are getting hurt, guys are getting dropped, and Lopez is feeding off that energy like a vampire. His trainers aren't holding him back or trying to preserve him for the actual fight. They're pushing him harder, demanding more violence, more aggression, because they know that's where Lopez thrives. When the pressure gets turned up and things get chaotic, that's when Lopez becomes most dangerous. The sparring footage leaking out of that camp shows a fighter who's not just preparing for a boxing match, he's preparing for war.
Yo, we're about to do some light work with Teofimo Lopez, 10-time world champion. Do some light work, moving around.
Three flips.
Yep. Right here. And a right hand up there. Right left right. 1, 2. Double jab right.
But here's what makes Lopez truly terrifying right now, and why this fight could be an absolute massacre. His trainer revealed something that should send chills down Stevenson's spine. After becoming a 2-division world champion, Lopez made a decision that completely changed his approach to the sport. Instead of taking breaks between fights, instead of coasting on his success, he committed to staying in the gym constantly. We're talking about multiple training sessions every single day, even when there's no fight scheduled. This level of dedication has transformed his body into a weapon that's constantly sharp, constantly ready. His speed has increased, his power has amplified, and his boxing IQ has reached levels that frankly seem unfair for someone his age. So here we have it, 2 fighters who have completely redefined what it means to prepare for battle, each taking a radically different approach, but with the same deadly intent. Stevenson with his surgical precision, elite mentorship, and unshakable family support going up against Lopez's raw aggression, constant training, and that hungry champion mindset. This isn't just about who's the better boxer anymore. This is about who's more willing to sacrifice everything, who's more obsessed with victory, and who can handle the pressure when everything they've worked for is on the line. One thing's for certain, when these 2 finally step into that ring, we're going to witness something special. So what do you think? Does Stevenson's technical perfection overcome Lopez's relentless aggression, or is Lopez's constant training going to be too much for even Crawford's protege to handle? Drop your prediction in the comments below, smash that like button if this breakdown got you hyped for this fight, and make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because this is just the beginning. When these 2 finally throw down, you're going to want to be here for every second of the breakdown. I'll see you in the next one. But hold on, because there's something happening right now that changes everything we just talked about. The psychological warfare between these two camps has escalated to levels that would make military strategists impressed. This isn't just trash talk on social media or heated press conferences anymore. We're witnessing calculated mind games that are designed to get inside the opponent's head months before they even step into the ring. And what's wild is that both fighters are playing completely different psychological games, each one perfectly tailored to exploit what they perceive as their opponent's weakness. Stevenson's approach to mental warfare is absolutely diabolical in its subtlety. Instead of loud proclamations or aggressive callouts, he's using silence as a weapon. Think about it. While Lopez is out there making noise, posting training videos, and talking about destruction, Stevenson is moving in complete stealth mode. His social media posts are calculated, his interviews are measured, and his public appearances are strategically limited. This creates this aura of mystery that's driving Lopez absolutely crazy. You can see it in Lopez's recent interviews. He's constantly bringing up Stevenson's name, trying to get a reaction, trying to pull him into a war of words. But Stevenson refuses to take the bait, and that restraint is more intimidating than any threat he could make. The genius of Stevenson's psychological approach becomes clear when you understand what it's designed to accomplish. By staying quiet and focused, he's forcing Lopez to fill the silence with his own doubts and anxieties. Every time Lopez tries to provoke a response and gets nothing back, it plants a seed of uncertainty. Is Stevenson ignoring him because he's scared, or is he ignoring him because he's so confident that he doesn't even consider Lopez worth responding to? That uncertainty is eating away at Lopez's confidence, even though he'll never admit it publicly. Meanwhile, Stevenson continues his methodical preparation, knowing that his silence is doing more damage than any insult ever could. But here's where Lopez's psychological game gets absolutely vicious, and it's something most people aren't picking up on. While everyone thinks he's just being loud and aggressive for show, Lopez is actually studying every single piece of footage, every interview, every social media post that comes out of Stevenson's camp. He's looking for tells, for weaknesses, for any sign that Stevenson might crack under pressure. And what he's discovered is fascinating. Stevenson has never been in a fight where he was the one being hunted instead of the hunter. Every major fight in Stevenson's career, he's been the young prospect, the underdog, the guy with nothing to lose. But now he's the champion, the favorite, and Lopez is betting everything that Stevenson doesn't know how to handle that pressure. The sparring partner situation has become an intelligence war that's straight out of a spy movie. Both camps are being incredibly secretive about who they're bringing in, but sources close to the situation reveal some absolutely insane details. Stevenson's team has flown in southpaw specialists from 3 different countries, guys who have never even been to America before, just to ensure that no information leaks back to Lopez's camp. These aren't just any southpaws either. They're fighters who have specifically studied Lopez's style for months, learning his combinations, his timing, his favorite setups. It's like Stevenson is fighting a Lopez clone every single day in training. Lopez's camp has taken an even more extreme approach that honestly sounds like something out of a movie. They've hired private investigators to gather intelligence on his training routine, his diet, even his sleep schedule. They want to know everything: what time he wakes up, what he eats for breakfast, how many rounds he spars, who visits the gym. This information isn't just for curiosity. They're using it to time their own social media posts and public appearances to maximize psychological impact. When Stevenson finishes a hard training session and checks his phone, Lopez wants to make sure there's a message waiting that will stick in his head all night. The financial stakes surrounding this fight have reached levels that are putting additional pressure on both fighters that most fans don't even realize. We're not just talking about the purse money, which is already life-changing for both guys. The winner of this fight is looking at endorsement deals, pay-per-view opportunities, and legacy fights that could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 5 years. The loser might never get another shot at that level of success. Both fighters understand that this isn't just about winning a boxing match. This is about securing their financial future and their place in boxing history. But here's what's really wild about the money situation. Both camps have made financial decisions that show just how confident they are in victory. Stevenson's team has already started preliminary negotiations for 3 different mega fights that would only be available if he wins impressively against Lopez. We're talking about potential unification bouts, crossover fights, and even discussions about moving up in weight to challenge established champions. They're not just planning for victory, they're planning for domination. That level of confidence either comes from genuine belief in their preparation, or it's an incredibly risky psychological bluff designed to intimidate Stevenson. Lopez's financial moves are even more telling, and they reveal a fighter who's betting everything on this moment. Sources reveal that Lopez has turned down multiple guaranteed paydays for easier fights, choosing instead to risk everything on this one massive opportunity. He's restructured his entire team's payment schedule, promising bigger bonuses for victory while accepting smaller guarantees up front. This isn't the decision of a fighter who's unsure about the outcome. This is someone who's so confident in his preparation that he's willing to gamble his financial security on his ability to destroy Stevenson. The training methodologies these two are using represent completely different philosophies about what makes a champion, and the contrast is absolutely fascinating. Stevenson's approach is rooted in the old-school Cuban amateur system, where technique and ring intelligence are prioritized above everything else. His training sessions look like chess matches, with every movement calculated, every combination practiced thousands of times until it becomes muscle memory. When Stevenson throws a punch in training, there are usually 5 other punches already planned depending on how his opponent reacts. It's beautiful to watch, but it's also terrifying when you realize how much thought goes into every single movement. The scientific approach in Stevenson's camp extends far beyond just boxing technique. They're using advanced analytics to break down every aspect of Lopez's fighting style, creating heat maps that show where he likes to position himself in the ring, timing charts that reveal patterns in his offensive output, and even psychological profiles that predict how he might react under different types of pressure. When Stevenson steps into that ring, he'll have more information about Lopez than Lopez probably has about himself. Every tendency, every habit, every slight tell that Lopez has shown in his previous fights has been cataloged and turned into a strategic advantage. Lopez's training philosophy comes from a completely different world, one that values adaptability and controlled chaos over rigid game planning. His sessions are designed to simulate the unpredictable nature of real fights, where plans often go out the window after the first hard punch lands. Instead of drilling the same combinations endlessly, Stevenson's works on reading and reacting, on finding opportunities in the middle of exchanges, on turning defensive moments into offensive explosions. His trainers throw unexpected scenarios at him constantly. What if you get hurt in round 3? What if your jab isn't landing? What if he's faster than expected? This approach creates a fighter who's comfortable with uncertainty and dangerous when things get messy. The physical conditioning programs these two are following would break most professional athletes, and the differences reveal everything about their fighting styles. Stevenson's conditioning is focused on maintaining speed and precision over 12 rounds while staying relaxed enough to think clearly under pressure. His workouts emphasize flexibility, reaction time, and the kind of cardiovascular base that allows him to throw combinations in the championship rounds with the same snap he had in round 1. When you watch Stevenson train, you notice that he never looks tired, never looks strained. Everything flows naturally, which is exactly how he plans to make the fight look. Lopez's physical preparation looks like something designed for a different sport entirely. We're talking about explosive power training that would make NFL linebackers jealous, combined with endurance work that pushes his body to complete failure and then demands more. His strength and conditioning coach revealed that Lopez regularly trains through levels of fatigue that would force most fighters to stop, because they want him to be comfortable throwing knockout punches even when he's completely exhausted. The theory is simple. If Lopez can maintain his power when he's running on empty, imagine how dangerous he'll be in the early rounds when he's fresh. The mental preparation aspect of both camps has reached levels that honestly seem almost supernatural. Stevenson has been working with sports psychologists who specialize in combat sports, learning visualization techniques that allow him to mentally rehearse every possible scenario dozens of times before the fight even happens. He's practicing staying calm when he gets hurt, maintaining focus when the crowd gets loud, and making strategic adjustments when his original game plan isn't working. By the time he steps into that ring, his mind will have already fought Lopez hundreds of times in dozens of different ways. Lopez's mental preparation takes a completely different approach that's equally impressive but much more intense. Instead of trying to stay calm, He's learning to harness and control his natural aggression, turning it into a weapon that he can deploy strategically rather than just letting it explode randomly. His team brings in fighters specifically to try to make him angry during sparring, teaching him to use that emotional energy to increase his output without losing his technique. They want him to be controlled fury when he steps into that ring, dangerous enough to end the fight at any moment, but smart enough to pick his spots. Here's something that's going to blow your mind about the level of detail both camps are putting into this preparation. Stevenson's team has recreated the exact lighting conditions, crowd noise levels, and even the temperature that's expected on fight night. They've built a replica of the ring where the fight will take place, down to the specific brand of canvas and ropes that will be used. When Stevenson trains, he's not just preparing for Lopez, he's preparing for every single environmental factor that could affect his performance. Nothing will be unfamiliar when he steps through those ropes. But Lopez's attention to detail might be even more obsessive, and it's focused on areas that most people would never think about. His team has analyzed the specific referee who's likely to work the fight, studying his tendencies about when he breaks up clinches, how he handles inside fighting, and what he considers acceptable levels of roughness. They've researched the judges' scoring patterns, understanding exactly what kind of rounds they tend to reward. Lopez isn't just preparing to outfight Stevenson. He's preparing to work within the specific conditions and personalities that will control the fight. The ripple effects of this fight are already being felt throughout the entire boxing landscape, with other fighters and promoters watching every development like their own careers depend on it. Top Rank and Golden Boy are treating this like a proxy war for promotional supremacy, with each side knowing that a decisive victory could shift the balance of power in the sport for years to come. The winner doesn't just get the belt and the money. They get positioned as the future face of boxing, with all the opportunities and responsibilities that come with that status.